ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move on to a very special session. We promised you that yesterday we were going to start out this morning with an open session. I hope you have your questions ready, because this one is going to be pretty amazing. We're going to welcome onto stage none other than Mr. Noomi Mehta, who's going to take this session forward. All he needs you to do is have your questions ready. You need to raise your hand. We've got mics in the audience. Do we have our mics ready? Yes, we've got mics coming out into the audience. You raise your hand loud and clear. Yeah, we're giving you a chance to even make sure that you ask the questions literally. And we've got Mr. Noomi Mehta, who's going to make sure that he answers them for you. So this open session this morning is an open session with the IOAA. And of course, to lead the way, please welcome onto stage none other than Mr. Noomi Mehta. Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Good morning, friends. Come on, guys. Good morning, friends. All right, all right. I have in front of me something to encourage me and inspire me. There's a slip of paper that says, "Time's up, sir. Thank you." Also, it was nice. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, I thought, look, why should Trump have all the fun? You know, if Donald Trump can comment on a woman's figure, I see no reason why I cannot compliment Keisha. You're in splendid shape, Keisha. You're looking lovely. Yeah, Trump did it to Mrs. Macron. Well, I haven't met her as yet, but I've met somebody even better. Friends, we're here to talk about the IOAA. That's about as inspiring a topic as you can get on a Saturday morning. First, a quick snapshot on what we think the outdoor world looks like for us in India. There are tremendous opportunities coming our way. Opportunities through the airports, through the massive highway projects, the industrial corridors that are going to join India. I understand the industrial corridor between Delhi and Mumbai, some 1,200 kilometers, will have something like 6 industrial parks, 3 railway systems, 2 airports, 7 smart cities along the way. A total of 100 plus smart cities to be rolled out in the country. The first 13 have already been identified. Monies are being allocated. So we've got the railways hoping to privatize themselves, well, not privatize themselves, but run the stations through private hands. They're looking for sponsorships. They're giving trains. They're giving full stations. They're giving media support inside and outside the railways. And what's more important, they're even taking on the different municipalities for their rights. We ourselves have managed to get a model code approved in Delhi, a model code that was dreamt up largely by Indrajit, with a few inputs from all of us on the governing body, to lay down a model code for the different cities and towns that has been approved by the Urban Ministry in Delhi and has been passed on to some of the states which have already implemented it. We're looking for a way forward, and in that we would urge anybody with contacts in the urban ministries of different states to get in touch with us so we can go and present to them and maybe get this adopted as the model code for the various municipal corporations. So all in all, it was a great year for IOAA. We've moved forward pretty rapidly. It may be premature to announce, but we seem to have reached an accord for the SOP now to be launched finally with the 3 years of I. One of the two key players has already given his consent. The other one was very busy over here and never had a chance to go through it. But we expect his consent in a few days. And we're hoping that by 1st of September, the new systems and procedures will be in place. This means a great deal for all of us, because it means we are now beginning to approach a period of rationalization, a period of systems, which would be hopefully very strictly followed. That will take the edge off all our major problems, problems such as not getting purchase orders, problems such as payments within fixed dates, and therefore we can plan our own cash flows better. I saw yesterday somebody mentioning that outdoor is 1% of media and entertainment. For God's sake, what do we have to do with entertainment? You know, you may as well say we're a fraction of a percent of the GDP. It has no relevance. Media and entertainment have no relevance together. I know the different consultancies insist on lumping these two together, but I see no reason and no sense in this whatsoever. We're roughly about 6% of the advertising pie, but most consultancies imagine this number to be lifting very shortly and are expecting the growth rate for out-of-home to reach 11% a year for the next 5 years. This, of course, is based on the tremendous opportunities which are now looking us in the face. Can we take advantage of these opportunities? Will they translate to a more secure position for media owners? Will they translate to better utilization in building brands? Will they translate to money in the bank? Well, all these answers can only be given by us. It depends how we react to these opportunities. It depends on what we do. Are we going to be constrained? Are we going to be conscripted by infighting? Or do we talk in a single united voice? We have seen over the past few years people coming to us from railways, people coming to us from the airport authorities. They come to talk to us, the municipal corporators. They come to talk to us. They come to find out our problems. Unfortunately, they are normally met by a babel of voices. A babel of voices thrusting 100 different complaints down their throat, which makes them least interested then to go into the details. So when we speak as an industry, we need to speak in one voice. And that one voice can only come from an organized platform. And I suggest to you that that platform is the Indian Outdoor Advertising Association. Rather than spend time talking to you, lecturing you, I would prefer to have an interaction. And to help me in the interaction, may I call on stage Indrajit Sen, who has done a lot of work. I'm sure there will be questions on GST. Well, he is the GST man. He has very happily renamed the GST as the generally stupid tax. The GST will make life easy for you. There's supposed to be one country and one tax. So we simplified it further by making only 5 slabs and then keeping 6 slabs payable at 3 different points, which means we have the general sales tax by the states, by the center, and then by the center and the states, which means you only have to file 3 forms a month for every state. There are 29 states, so God help you with that. And then at the end of the year, you need to, every 6 months, you need to file your returns. And those of you who wish to operate nationally can look forward to filling up just over 1,000 forms. So if that doesn't keep you busy, I don't know what will. So friends, let's get to the questions on hand. Yes, please, Rajiv. Some industrious people have already sent in questions for us to answer, so please read them out.
Noomi, we had, as mentioned earlier, we had announced that the session would be on today.
Yes.
And we got a few questions in advance. So I thought that I'll put those questions across to you first before we open the flow, we open the Q&A to the rest of the participants. So I'll read out the 3 questions that are here with me, and you could address them at one go. The first question is IOAA giving a different treatment to small agencies versus big agencies on the issue of credit control policy? The second question is, when will the IOAA board speak in one voice for measurement metrics? And the third question is, if you could elaborate on 5 achievements that you would like to speak on covering the last 10 years. So over to you.
Well, the questions are very easy. I'll let Indrajit handle them for starters.
Well, thank you for the privilege, Noomi. The first question was whether we are giving differential treatment to small agencies versus large agencies. Firstly, let me tell you all over here that in the last 7 years that we have been operating the credit control committee that we have formed in the IOAA, approximately 99% of the defaults have all arisen from the new small agencies that keep cropping up whenever an employee leaves one of the established agencies. There is no way that we can treat the new startup agencies who are banking on their previous relationships to get a lot of credit and then, well, literally to disappear, on the same platform as agencies who have been in this business since independence or before that and have been doing very large and very successful businesses by and large. Of course, they are late in making their payments. Of course, they don't issue the POs on time. Of course, they don't do a lot of things. But they are there. They have an existence. They have a huge commitment to business. They are affiliated to large networks. So if there is a default report against them, typically our experience till date is that those are addressed immediately. Therefore, when they come up also with scenarios where clients have not paid altogether, we keep talking to them and try and find a solution rather than come to a confrontation or come to a dead end. They are at least there for us to be able to talk to. There are most of the places where we find the smaller and the new startup agencies, there's no one there to talk to because it's just not there. So if you are saying that as a differential treatment, I'm afraid that is something that we will continue. And in fact, what we are going to do is classify agencies in future into an A, B, and a C class in the terms of the volumes of business, the age that they have been in business, and what kind of networks are they affiliated to. And in that, the category C is a whole set of agencies who are new, small, less than 5 years of age, and who have, we do not know what kind of financial background, etc., that they have, where the IOAA recommendation is, please deal with these agencies on advance payment, PDCs, etc. IOAA has also created an accreditation policy for agencies, and all such new agencies that come into the business, please refer them to IOAA to get themselves accredited. One of the accreditation norms that we have developed is that there needs to be a bank guarantee.
Indrajit, can I request you to make it short because questions are flowing like anything.
I'm sorry. Some of these require a lot of
No,
clarification.
that's something will be full day required for this decision. Then that's
Sure.
the case.
Okay, so if there is anything further on this, we will address it later.
So may I just add, it's not size that matters, it's reliability. Okay, you may have a large agency, you may have a very large agency, but they will be treated the same. We will treat them differently only if we feel the reliability factor is missing.
Correct. What is the second one? One voice on measurements. This is an association. We are not the company that is going to do the measurements. Okay. So the measurements are for the media companies. So if the media companies today come on one voice and say that yes, we want to do the measurements, then we will obviously, I mean, we are there ready to support and ready to create the measurements. We have done all the homework, we have done all the basics, and we are waiting. And we are talking to people, and then no one seems to be really interested in going ahead and doing the measurements amongst our media members, all our members from the community. If the community comes together and says that yes, we need measurements, even any one city says, or any one association, local association says that yes, we will support and let's do the measurements for our state or our city, we are going to be there like a flash. We have identified the processes, we know exactly what to do. So it's not the IOAA board that has to decide that. IOAA board has already decided it and is waiting and is trying to do it, but unless all the media companies agree or accept, there's no way these measurements can go forward. So it's up to you.
So can I sum it up by saying, there's no problem in talking, but unfortunately money talks better. So put your money where your mouth is. It will be done tomorrow. If you'd like me to start the ball rolling, I would be prepared on behalf of my company to promise a sum of 50 lakhs of rupees over the next 2-3 years to make sure it gets rolling. Let's have your money where your mouth is. So let's have the next question, please.
What's the third one?
5 achievement.
5 achievements. Well, okay. I think the first is that we have an understanding with the 3 A's of I. That's a very great achievement. The media agencies, whom we kept fretting about, whom we kept giving gali to for so many years, we now consider them our partners. They're coming and sitting with us. They actually pay us from time to time.
Sir, please make it short.
So that's a big achievement. Achievement number 1. Achievement number 2, we've had the regulatory policy in Delhi. I think that's a fantastic achievement. Achievement number 3, we have a credit control committee that gets money for all us members when they get stuck. Credit for that goes to the chairman over there, my friend Pavan. Pavan must take the credit, and if he doesn't get credit, he'll take it anyway. So I don't know how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, is it? 4 is done. Indrajit, can you think of anything else we've been doing over these past few years?
IOAA exists for 10 years now. That I think itself kind of speaks volumes, because now you have 200 of the largest companies in the country as members.
We've given clarity on GST. We've had service tax conferences to help you through that. We've represented ourselves to the government. We've gone and met the GST commissioner in Hyderabad. The list goes on and on. It doesn't stop. Yes, Pavan? We've done a lot of training programs. We've represented ourselves to the different authorities. We now have 10-year contracts and blah, 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 blah. The list is endless. So we can take credit for almost everything that's developed. None of the debits, mind you, only the credits for what good things have happened in India these last few years.
Can I request people to ask the question? A lot of questions are coming. It will be very difficult because it's an important question. Can I ask Nabendu, you have put the questions. Can you please ask?
What is the question I put? I have forgotten. So it's written there. My question is, IOAA is our central government GST. Okay? Central government could manage to, now I understood, central government could manage to get the GST done in consultation with the other states and other government. So how IOAA will manage the really tricky, complicated, all other states association to come together and make this happen, and what is in it for them? So
yes,
that's the question.
Sure.
My side.
We have different state associations which are now becoming members of the IOAA. But what we've realized over the years is that a lot of them want us to start a small branch or a small chapter inside their own cities or inside their own states. So that's something that we're looking at, starting off small offices of IOAA in different parts of India, where the local associations don't seem to have much sway or don't seem to be present. We've had calls for this from Gujarat, from UP, from Delhi. So it's something that we'll be looking at. Yes, Firdaus is thumping his chest. I think he wants one in Chennai also. So we will be looking more closely at setting up these branch offices, but all this takes time, it takes money, more important than that. So please do pay your fees on time and keep increasing them from year to year.
The first chapter is going
Does
to be
that help,
started.
Navindu?
First chapter is going to be started in Delhi, as has been decided in the AGM and the board meeting 2 days before. So we're proceeding with that, yeah.
Hi.
Please don't feel shy to clap. You can take as much time as you like.
Hello.
Vasant and I disagree on this completely.
Yeah, actually my question is, you mentioned from 6% to 11%, that's the growth we are seeing in future. So what are the areas, key areas that we have to look upon where we can achieve those growth? And secondly, what are the areas which could hinder this growth, like which could stop this growth? So can you please help us out?
Yes, what are the areas you need? We need to look into new technology, basically LED technology, which helps you to interact with the consumer, which helps you to interact and give messages of the government. We need to work with the government on this. Areas such as smart cities won't allow plain vanilla outdoor advertising. They want different forms of advertising, where the interaction can take place between the general public and the state government or the government in charge, as well as with the advertisers. That's point number one. Point number two, you need to look at infrastructural projects which help you contribute towards the city infrastructure or the town infrastructure. This may be in the nature of street furniture, etc., which is now taking a greater role in government decision making. We need to be able to talk to the government in one voice. This is extremely crucial. We need to talk to the government in one voice so that they understand what is necessary for us to participate in this private-public partnership. Unfortunately, this does not happen. May I tell you that recently, even in Delhi, the amount that the outdoor parties fight against each other in front of the government and try to pull each other down, it leads to almost a complete frustration of all policies that are laid down even by the Supreme Court. Now we are treading on very, very dangerous ground when we do this kind of activity. So we need to have some respect for the government policies and to be able to abide by the rules and play within the boundaries, as it were. Not keep pushing the envelope, and this yesterday's habit of putting up illegal sites whenever and wherever you get a chance, or taking the help of some municipal corporate and putting up something without the due permissions and due process, this must stop. Basically, we are the only one who can spoil this great future. Does that help you?
Yeah, just one more thing. As you said, you all are from the smart city point of view and all, are you all working towards that? Like, is there a body you all are forming in order to work with the smart city, or how's it?
The different smart cities are being formed with different consultancies all over the country. We have approached all the consultancies to put our point of view forward. This has been very well received so far. We need to keep making our presence felt and keep visiting all the smart city conferences to explain in greater detail the role of outdoor advertising.
Okay. Thanks.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Good morning. Sir, in our discussions when it comes to IOAA as the biggest association for outdoor, we always speak about the stakeholders, where the money is outgoing. There is one stakeholder that we forget where the money is incoming, that is our marketeers, the real marketeers. As an organization, what are we doing to, win over their confidence and their trust when it comes down to outdoor advertising?
You're talking about the clients, no doubt?
Clients, yes.
Yeah. Well, we've had discussions with clients, and the discussions we've had with clients has been quite positive. They do have faith and belief, at least in some of the major outdoor players, that we are by and large decent people. Not all of us are thugs with carrying firearms or something and threatening them at the moment's notice. Well, the clients are well disposed towards outdoor advertising. It's just been that we have had so much of negative publicity which has occurred for a variety of reasons, and that is something that we need to counter. I think more than anything else, what the marketer or the client needs is the justification as to why should I send this money, why should I change my spends, why should I take it away from digital or away from print and give it to outdoor when you can't give me any form of metrics, any numbers. More importantly, the client these days believe on these computers and their charts. You put garbage in and you get garbage out. The numbers that they get from other media may not be good, but they get numbers. Unfortunately, if you provide no numbers that go in, then no numbers come out, and outdoor gets left behind. So for us to grow, numbers are a must.
Sir, again request to make it crisp.
You want one-line replies? Okay.
Yeah, please.
All right, let's go.
Yeah. If you look at global associations, what would be 3 things that you would take away as your plan for the next 3 years?
Looking at global associations.
And learning from them.
Local or global? Sorry.
Looking at global associations and learning from them, what would be your top 3 priorities for the next 2 to 3 years?
Well, I'd love to follow the Kerala Association. They have wonderful unity. I think that's a must. I would look at the Association of Bombay and say that you'll have grown strong recently and you'll speak in one voice when it comes to crucial decision making. That's something that we can learn from Bombay. I look at Calcutta and find that they're very firm, very strong, and very belligerent. They're prepared to take on the client, or they're prepared to take on the agencies. They might be in a bit more of a fighting mood than normal, but that's just a start. And I think these are the 3 important takeaways from us, that we must remain aggressive as an association, which we learned from Calcutta. We must be strong and uniform in our response, which we learned from Bombay. And we must be united as we learned from Kerala.
Sir,
10 minutes to go.
Sir, how does IOAA plan to streamline payment under GST?
I'm sorry, I couldn't catch that.
Sir, how does IOAA plan to streamline payment under GST? This is important because both agencies and clients shall to get input credit and tax to be paid by media owner monthly. Is IOAA making a system for regular payment that is too timely? If yes, then please specify.
IOAA has taken the step of calling KPMG and has had a full day's conference with them. They've explained to us the nuances of the GST, how bills are to be raised, and how we can take credits. The important thing in GST is not just the payment, it's also the receiving of credits. So we need to be careful under which form we take the bills, or which form we raise the bills, whether it's state, central, or central and state. Because you only get the credits depending on where you yourself have the expenses. If you're based in Bombay and you're taking bills from Chennai, then it's not going to help you in your expenses. So you'll have to pay central sales tax, for which you'll get no credit. You will definitely then have to open a chapter or an association or a branch in Chennai and get that registered. Having said that, we've covered this in detail through the KPMG meeting, and I can't go through that right now. Vasant is already glaring at me. If you meet me separately, I'll have a chat. Yes, Anindra.
Hi. Would you consider the inputs, I mean the IOAA, would consider the inputs from the local, regional level associations while they draft the final policy for the SOP?
SOP has already been drafted, and we have taken consideration over the last, I think, 5 years now, since we've been working, not 5 years, perhaps I exaggerate, maybe 3 years since we've been working on this, but it's a very, very comprehensive policy. If there are any last minute touches, do give them to us in a hurry. We'd like to look at them. But then in that case, we must be objective. If it's just a changing of, you want to change 10 days to 12 days and 12 days to 15 days, that might not be possible now. But if there are any broad objective or broad points, definitely we would look at that too.
Thank you.
SOP in any case is an ongoing work. It's not a full stop. Improvements will be made from time to time as we keep on tightening the procedures. Come on, guys, I was promised lots of questions.
Sorry.
We're going back to the laptop. Now the trouble starts.
Sorry, as you said, like numbers.
Sorry?
Number is the name of the game.
Yep.
So is there any way the outdoor media is going to work on that area, like how they are going to defend their part? So are you all thinking of that side? Like
we've got everything in place. We've talked to international agencies for doing the research work. We had even hired a consultant, which we paid for. So we know the mistakes that we should not be making. We've got Dave Roberts here. He is the expert. He's just done the work in South Africa. He's here to counsel us and guide us further. But the important thing for us to realize is it's time to stop talking and start acting. And the only way to act is to be able to pay for what we hope to achieve.
okay, so this is going to be on the association part, not on an individual company's behalf?
No, it has to be an association, not only a single association, but with all three associations. In this, I include the agencies association, the 3 A's of I, as well as the client association, which is the Society of Advertisers.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Excuse me.
My question, Noomi?
Yes?
Yeah. My question is, you are actively coordinating, collaborating with FEPE, European Outdoor Congress,
Yes.
and American Outdoor Association too.
That's right.
So what are the 3 big benefits you see them that they are organized, therefore they have grown their pie? So can you explain those 3 things they are doing rightly?
Yes, well, very quickly, they're extremely well organized and extremely well funded. Some of the research work that they're doing and funding, and I'm sure our friend over here will bear us out from Prime Sites, the funding costs in excess of 10 million pounds, if I'm not mistaken, the funding for the research work. Now, I don't immediately want you to start splurging your money around, but we need to be able to get some serious numbers in to be able to convince media buyers that this is the correct purchase for them. The story of outdoor is good, it's very strong, but it needs to be reassured and buttressed by numbers. I think it's high time we address that one particular fact. 2 is we need to stop selling this by the kilo, okay? We cannot sell sites by the kilo anymore. Each site is an individual location and gives different benefits. So we need to be able to look at the speciality of each site and raise its price accordingly. We need to bring in technology to be able to share the space. Very often space is wasted. There is waste circulation. For example, if you have but I know alcohol advertising is banned, but it exists nonetheless. There's no point looking at a whiskey advertisement at 6 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning when you're driving to work. So we need to share the space. Obviously, the flexibility to do that through technology is now available, so let's start doing that. We need to be able to get out of our comfort zone, and we need to be able to interact directly with the brands and for the brands. For us to do this, we need to embrace technology very, very strongly. These are the 3 learnings I would suggest.
There are a couple of others that I would add to this. One is there is a universal realization in every continent today that fortunately or unfortunately, outdoor advertising, whether it's for media or for the specialist agencies associated with outdoor advertising, is always considered everywhere in the world somewhere at a very low status in society. It's kind of looked down upon everywhere. That has been one of the reasons why we always have an uphill task whenever we go to any client. Now, that is something which the global agencies, particularly FEPE, has been very, fighting this in as many ways as possible. One of the best ways that they're doing it is encouraging social use of the media. For example, in the US, outdoor advertising is an active partner for FBI to look for missing persons as well as wanted criminals on their billboards, and that has given tremendous results. It also proves the efficacy of outdoor, besides providing it a very, very strong social anchor. Now, these are things that we need to perhaps do in our country as well, and increasingly, IOAA is also kind of moving in that direction. We are tying up with CRY and others to support some well-established NGOs with their messages. Second, the other part that I'd like to just add to this is a global realization and again, a very strong focus from FEPE on creatives for outdoor. We have been talking about this for years, but again and again, we still see adaptations from print and television onto outdoor screens, which does not really contribute to its effectiveness as far as brands are concerned. So, quality of creative is another aspect which is being very, very well emphasized, and that is something that we must also focus on.
Yes, Keisha. Next question. It's all done. The last question. Is there one more question? Yes, certainly.
Good morning to all of you.
Good
I am
morning.
Prem Singh Jha. I am a Deputy Commissioner in South Delhi Municipal Corporation. Right. I wanted to ask one very basic question from IOAA, whether you have any ethical framework for your outdoor advertisement displays. Whether you have framed any ethical framework.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
We have an ethical framework for membership, for granting membership. And if members are found violating the ethical framework, then we will get rid of them. We have no room and no space for people who indulge in illegal displays. We do not encourage it, and we actively disassociate ourselves from it. We have fought a case in the Supreme Court entirely on this basis, giving support where needed to end illegal displays.
Thank you.
So I think that was the last question, or is there one more? One more, okay.
You all are saying that you all will not encourage illegal hoardings, displays. But I'm talking for Tamil Nadu right now, where there are a number of illegal hoardings. Hoardings are banned. But yet agencies and clients are directly taking that, and where a legal media is there, say bus shelters, etc., that gets harmed because illegal hoardings are flourishing.
Fine. Quick answer to that. First and foremost, this is the Indian Outdoor Advertising Association. Tamil Nadu is not part of India. We all know it's a different planet entirely. Okay, that's the first. The second part to that question is, you're so far away, you're not exactly in the limelight. The minute we get to hear of it, and we would urge you to send in a complaint, we will look into it. If necessary, make representations at the highest level to make sure it gets stopped. We will do what we can. We cannot change the world.
Noomi?
But I think together we will make a difference. Yes, Indrajit?
Yeah. In the IOAA website, and as we have been talking to all our members over and over again, there is a provision for all members to list the sites that they own. And we have agreed with agencies that they will follow that list when they do their buying. So if you guys are not sending in your lists of your own sites, for whatever reason that you know best, you cannot expect people to be able to differentiate between which is legal and which is illegal, because both have the same kind of structures and legitimacy to a passerby. How would anyone know which is which? But we expect that our members, when they list their sites that they own on our website, with bare minimum details at least, those are the ones that are legitimate and would be subscribed to only by the agencies. If they don't do it, we have a right to catch that agency and ask them why they have not followed it, or we have every right to even go to the client that is using it and ask them why they are using an illegal site.
So thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Please send in your list for registration.
So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. May I add my appreciation to Indrajit, because the hall was half full when I started speaking. The minute he came up, the hall is filled up considerably. And may I remind you of the prophecy in advance. Time is up, sir. It's time to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, the chairperson of IOAA, Mr. Noomi Mehta. We've got the executive director of IOAA. Like they've been saying, make sure that you keep this channel of communication open, not just at the AGMs or out here at OAC 2017, but make sure that you connect with them all the time, register your sites, and of course, like Mr. Noomi Mehta said, go ahead and put your money where you want the action.